Sacramento City, California. You're listening to The Second Column with Joe, Mike, Carlos, and Sean.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Second Column podcast, our 20th podcast.
Wow.
That's
20th.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Not bad.
If we were 20th Century Fox, we'd be really rich.
What?
I guess that's true.
I'm just saying 20 is a
general?
big number. 20th century,
Yes.
20 years old, that's like a big age.
Now that's a big age.
No, I think 21 is actually the
21's
one
a
you want
bigger
to get.
age.
But I don't think also that 20th Century Fox became rich
Because of the
like there
name.
wasn't they
I
weren't
agree.
like 15th Century
I
Fox,
agree with Kearney.
16th.
I agree with Kearney. And Mike, there's going to be a lot of numbers thrown out tonight, so you don't have to relate them all to something.
please.
We can just let the numbers happen.
Well, I think, the big 2-0.
Just let numbers happen.
100.
Just, lay off the numbers. Anyway, another number. For the first time in the history of this podcast, we have all four hosts plus a guest. Our guest tonight is comedian Doug Dreisel Jr. Welcome, Doug.
Ahoy, all. Yay, me. Yay, me.
Doug
I
is-
think if we were KNBC Channel 4, we'd be rich right now.
Well, that makes total sense. Mike's thing was bullshit, but that
yeah.
was that. Now I'm hearing that.
I
So-
see now.
Exactly. So Doug's a comedian here in Los Angeles. He's a friend of ours. We've been on stage with him. He's been in shows with him. He's a really funny guy. He'll be chipping in tonight on our podcast. So we
Oh,
look forward-
fresh.
we look forward to having him.
He's America's favorite guy.
He is America's favorite guy. I was just about to say that.
Yes,
Oh.
that's how he is usually introduced.
Yeah, on stage. Exactly. He has
True.
You see him in Ed's Punk House, and who
Yep.
was a guest on here before, and yep.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Very good. Well, we're glad to have him, and we will, as we are now doing, jump right into things. This week, I wrote a column called "My Big TV Debut."
Ooh.
I made it to television.
It was kind of my big TV debut as well.
It was
Uh-oh.
my big.
Did you write a
Get your
column
own-
about
Get
it?
your own blog.
Motherfucker, I was on the
Oh.
screen with
No.
you.
Oh my God, they're so famous. They're gonna say their catchphrase.
Exactly. Mike's catchphrase is "motherfucker" something angry.
Yeah, it's a good one. I like it.
Mike was also there. I would have gotten to that
Nice.
if he gave me more than 10 seconds to explain the column.
Oh.
But
No.
I made my big debut this week, along with some guy who I do comedy with. And
Me?
We yes, Carlos was
Yes,
there.
Carlos Jaime.
As Hero Style, which is our music comedy group. So we performed at our friend Ed Galvez's show called Punk House, and that night the History Channel happened to be there to tape us for a documentary, and Doug was also there. He was also taped, and for this documentary called History of the Joke, and I wrote about it this week on joedonatelli.com. So feel free to check out the column, and we're going to talk about it right now. If you haven't checked it out, check it out. Otherwise, you might be a little lost. But I think you'll catch up pretty soon. So
Go on. We'll wait.
yeah, exactly. Pause it. Okay, you're back.
You got a drink or two.
Exactly. Okay. So I don't know. Kick things off, Sean. Did you have any thoughts? Start things off here.
Yeah, I kind of wanted to turn this around to me.
Nice. Good.
I mean, I liked your column, and I liked what you had to offer.
I appreciate
but,
that.
I want to talk about my first time on television.
Well,
Actually,
I would like to hear that story about your first time on television.
I was on a little known Nickelodeon show.
Wait, what? Hey,
Wait,
what's
yeah.
going on
Were
here?
you Moose from You Can't Do That on Television?
I was actually on a show called Wild and Crazy Kids.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Throw it up.
Extreme. That's like extreme double dare.
It was you'd get on these teams, like there was the red team and the blue team, and you'd do these like kids games, but it was super extreme.
Yeah.
Omar Gooding was one of the hosts. Cuba Gooding Jr.'s brother.
Oh,
Looked
okay.
just like him.
Wow.
But I was on it.
Was Mario Van Peebles busy that week? Or?
Yeah, well, they got his brother,
Right,
Justin
right,
Van
right.
Peebles.
No, Frank Stallone was there. I think.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay. So
Frank
go ahead.
But I was on it, and I was the YMCA. I was part of the YMCA, and
Really?
they all went to we went to Universal Studios to film it, like on the back lots. And I was young. I was like 6 or 7, and I was so excited. I loved the Miami Vice. Like, they used to have, I think it's Waterworld now. They had this stunt show. And so I was so pumped, and I was like, oh, I'm going to get to do that one. It was with squirt guns.
Nice.
And it was like this cool, because that's what they do, is instead of playing, you wouldn't just play like T-ball. It would be like a T-ball game, but you have to get dizzy first and try and hit the ball.
I remember that one. Yeah.
And you do it like, and there'd be 2 groups of kids. Sometimes the parents would do it with them. So ours was at Universal Studios, and I was really excited. And I went to every set that they were doing a game on, and they wouldn't let me do it because I was too young. And I was too. So I finally ended up in the set of The Great Outdoors. The movie,
with John Candy.
With John Candy, I was on the back lot.
I have a cousin that was in that movie.
Nice.
Yeah, he was the younger son.
The 2 degrees of me and Carlos
wow.
Hyman.
And
God.
your
Boom,
paths
boom.
have crossed.
But they brought me to the set, and what we had to do was someone like fished a tent out of the lake from that movie, and then we walked up to the grass and built the tent. Whoever could build the tent or pitch the tent faster won.
Wow.
And I didn't do anything because I was too young. I didn't know how to build a tent or
Right.
like catch things. So I stood there and just watched everybody and was like, "Hey, good job, guys, good job."
Way to go.
I got my moment in the spotlight because every time they cut to a commercial in that episode,
Yeah.
they cut to me
Nice.
cheering people on because someone in the editing room like had a sense of humor, was like, "This kid's doing nothing." It's my first time on television. It's on a VHS tape somewhere.
Very good.
There
Very
we
good,
go.
Sean. Very proud of you. Very proud of you. Kind of like in our improv shows, you just stand there and
But everyone looks at me.
everyone looks at you. You draw the attention.
And that's when I learned where, how I was going to get through life was
Exactly.
right here, the
There we
looks.
go.
That's funny.
As I would like
Keep
to
a
call
lookout
him.
for him on Noggin.
You, Degrassi, the next
I'd
generation.
say you're kind of the golden child.
Yes. Where's Eddie
Awesome
Murphy?
film.
Yeah.
Is it with Eddie Murphy too?
Big
I like,
bowl of blood.
I like that it was the Great Outdoors is not exactly like a children's movie either. It's got some adult content in it.
A
That's
little
what
bit. A little
It's a
bit.
strange. Isn't there like a washing machine scene in that or something? It's just
Is
like-
there?
I would like to have
Maybe.
seen you in the washing machine challenge.
Well, that was that challenge. That was an interesting challenge too. I was disqualified for that for completely different purposes.
Wow.
terrible.
I want to see him in the bear challenge.
What a freaking jip.
I know, really. How lame.
Yeah, or the get the bat out of the cabin challenge. right?
Yes.
They did. It was weird. Some of the challenges were more interesting than
Yeah.
others, but mine was by far the lamest
see.
game you could do. You
Yeah.
know.
It looks like it.
Yeah, well, I want to thank you for stealing the thunder from Mike and myself
Yeah.
in our big TV debut. Thanks,
Thanks, their condor.
Right, thanks.
Oh.
Whoa, no longer
Whoa.
golden child.
There's been some hostility between me and Mr. Costantini today.
Condor.
Oh,
Yeah.
no, dang.
I don't know.
Oh,
That's why Sean wasn't on the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
He was actually sitting in the other room, not allowed to participate in the podcast.
was really
It was
weird.
very strange. What
But
Mike,
you two are such a lovely couple. What?
I know.
Come on. Come together.
When Mike gets angry.
No, I was just there. I was showing him how to play a video game earlier today, and he got a little upset because I was telling him this is how you actually drive. And we were playing Burnout Paradise, which is an awesome Xbox 360 game. It was very
Very
cool.
nice.
I like the plugs.
Yeah, good play. All right,
We were drinking
great.
Nestle's Cocoa.
Great, that's all great. Mr. Doug Dreisel Jr.
Yes, sir.
Do you have any first thoughts on what you read?
Yes. Well, I would like to talk about my because this is actually my maybe third time on television.
Okay.
Yeah. And I the first time I was ever on television in high school, my dad had decided he was just going to do a sketch comedy show to have local musicians featured. So he hired me on as the head comedy writer.
Cool.
And we did enough sketches for 6 episodes, and they only aired one late night on UPN Little Rock.
Wow.
And it was
UPN Little Rock.
UPN Little Rock. Yep. And all the stuff they used for the first episode was actually like our worst stuff. So they're never gonna.
So
yeah.
were you on it, or did you just write for it?
Oh, I wrote it, and I was the lead actor too.
What was the? Tell me the best worst sketch that you did.
the best worst sketch was Happy and Slappy, the safety clowns.
That's awesome.
That was an idea of my dad's that I loved. It looked good on paper, and
Yeah.
it was just 2 clowns who were completely unemotional whatsoever. They were just talked very monotone, and they gave safety tips
Safety
for
advice.
for different situations.
Don't play with matches.
Oh.
Honk honk.
But stuff like I think the one I remember mostly was never trust a turkey while playing in poker because turkeys always cheat. And
That's a safety tip.
that's a safety tip.
It's almost creepy.
That's
Yeah.
good. That's good.
It did not work.
That's good horse sense. What year would that have been?
That was I want to say 99. It was in between sophomore and junior year of high school.
UPN Little Rock. So there's a good
Yeah.
chance that Mike Huckabee saw it, or
It could be.
Nolan Richardson saw it, or
Or Bill
any other
Clinton.
famous.
I think
Bill
Bill
Clinton
Clinton
could have been
saw
back
it.
there and
Yeah.
seen it a lot. Any number of famous Arkansans could have
There we
seen
go. But that was
Matt
weekend.
Besser
with
could have
Dougie
been
Kim.
sitting in his dorm room.
Could have also been there.
So it might have
That's
inspired
also
some
true. So,
UCB
Doug, what was your
sketches.
second time? What was your second time?
Oh, my second time was actually I wasn't. It was only on Comcast On Demand. I was part of a George Wendt pilot called As Seen on TV, and they showed it at the over at the Raleigh Theater, Raleigh Studios for the Comcast Independent Television Festival.
You're a real niche guy.
Yeah.
You are specific markets. UPN Little
Yes,
Rock.
very much so.
Comcast. Man,
Get it done, man.
Yeah, look for Doug next on HBO 7
Yeah.
or whatever.
HBO
On
Latino.
Joe TV.
Yeah, After Dark.
The television station that only goes to one man.
One house.
In one room.
Individualized TV. Awesome. Very good. I don't know if you had any first thoughts there, Mr. Los.
Yeah, I got some thoughts.
You always have some thoughts
What the hell is this? So this show was called The History of the Joke.
of the joke.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
that's on the History Channel.
It was on the History Channel.
Come on, that's it. That's what's on the History
That's
Channel.
what's on the History Channel. I
Oh.
actually looked at the History Channel's programming. It's
Yeah.
no longer so much about the history
No,
anymore.
no,
It's really not.
It's a ridiculous.
Yeah, it is ridiculous. I made some notes. Modern Marvels. We have to compete with that. We have to
Yeah.
be funnier than Modern Marvels. We had to be funnier than Modern Marvels Mountain Roads.
Oh wow, because we
Which,
really need that.
What
What about Ice Truckers? Is Ice Truckers on?
I've seen Ice Truckers on there before.
That's a
you
thrill
don't have a
packed.
fucking shot.
That's
a good
actually an
one.
excellent documentary. I mean, can you imagine driving one of those big rigs on top of ice?
And yet that
And then the fact that why is Sean laughing so hard right now?
because it has.
Do you think that's
I
funny?
couldn't imagine that documentary.
no?
Because Carlos said a thing today when we were playing this game. Mike kept on saying things like, we were driving in, like we jumped the car and we're driving on this roof, and Mike goes, "You're driving on a rooftop."
Well, it's something you have to point out. I mean, it's so ludicrous.
But we're all watching the same screen, and then Carlos brings it to everyone's attention, including Mike, that Mike just says the most obvious stuff. And then and after we've all had a laugh about that, I crashed the car into a wall, and it's been 15 seconds maybe, and Mike again goes, "Oh, you just crashed your car into that wall."
It's like wow.
So really, that show about ice truckers, that's crazy. They drive trucks on ice.
I couldn't imagine that.
But what the hell? What is the significance of history?
I
of that
think
channel,
if I had to
of
break,
that
if I
TV
had to
show?
break down what this was, I think it was a really cheap way for some guy to get a producing credit and create like a tape that he could sell through their, website. Because
Right.
this thing, they showed it once, and it's now they're just selling it on the website.
Don't hype it up too much, Joe.
I know.
Well, I think they're trying to get a younger audience because, like, the History Channel used to be actually history, but they have the UFO documentaries now on it.
Yeah, they're going for that hip audience.
Yeah.
And
I love
16 to
UFOs.
22-year-old girls who talk about UFOs all the time.
Right.
Well, now
Well,
that
you know,
Dawson's Creek isn't on the air anymore.
Look out, E.
Well, they got. There's Hitler only did so much.
That's
So,
true.
True.
You know,
I know, it's true. No, the History Channel is known for just being really.
It's World War
It's
II
guys who are
channel.
like 50 to 65 years old watch that. It's the World War II channel. Yeah.
Hey, man,
So-
I watch the channel now.
Well, you.
Wow.
Well, that's how it is.
Proves our point.
I really like the documentary on
UFOs.
underwater UFOs.
Yeah.
What?
Which
So
are
it's-
called UFOs.
UFOs.
No, they're called they were
the UFOs.
submerged UFOs or something like that.
Yeah.
Can you imagine those UFOs underwater?
They would not be in air.
You know,
no.
No, they had, and they said, the number one sighting was actually between Santa Monica and Catalina, which is out by where we live. So, like, they're apparently, like, there's a very deep part of the ocean there, and so the majority of UFOs actually, like, pop out of there.
That sighting took place October 1st, 1976.
That was when I was born.
Oh.
In a heat wave, nonetheless.
Whoa.
No.
Oh my
And that
gosh.
and it was strange that your mom wasn't even pregnant.
Oh,
You just
hold
were
on.
one day.
Now that's just crossing the line.
A lot of people's mothers say their kids are special.
Yeah.
Mike's mom meant it.
do you have a belly button, Mike? Huh?
Yeah, I don't think you.
or were
do.
you hatched like Mirth from Earth?
Yeah, were you hatched like Mirth from
I don't know. Sometimes I think,
Answer the question.
sometimes I think I'm actually from another planet.
Well, nobody here's going to argue with that.
I have dreams.
I know.
Oh no, he has dreams.
Stating the obvious.
Wait a second. You have so what's a Mike Costantini dream like?
Well, I'll tell you one dream. I was fighting a bunch of
Bird
I was fighting a bunch of gladiators, just whipping the shit out of them. Just like, this is when I was 7, just slaughtering them. You know, like I was like Superman.
Were you or did you have a Conan body?
I don't know. It was me, but like I didn't really look at me. I was just noticing all the carnage because I was just slaughtering
the worst gladiators ever.
So
Wait a second. You dream about gladiators?
So weird.
So when I was 7, I went through and I just slaughtered all of these gladiators and just beat the shit out of them. Then I went into this bathroom and just took a long piss after in the dream. But then when I woke up, I had wet my pants.
Oh my God.
Wait, you were in bed with pants?
Very good for Doug to point it out.
That's what alien children, they don't know the difference between pants and
they were pajamas, but you know.
I can see you in some little man pants.
Is that the best dream you've had though?
That was
all
actually-
your life.
that was actually the
remembered it.
That was actually the last time I'd actually wet my pants was when I was 7. But I just thought it was funny after a battle you wet your pants. Because like, isn't that, there's something funny about that? Like you fight a major battle and then just take a piss.
Well,
it just seems so manly.
Samurai warriors had to draw their penises up into their torsos when fighting. So it might be the opposite of that.
See? Driesel knows.
You also didn't. You really wet your pants in real life, but in your dream you didn't
peed.
wet your pants.
In your dream, you made it in the toilet.
Well, it was happening. It was happening simultaneously, you know. But
So you know,
Sean's falling out of his chair.
Your dream persona is actually smarter and tougher than your real persona.
Wow.
Like you made the toilet, you made the pee-pee in the toilet, and you killed all the warriors. In reality, you peed in your bed and laid in it.
What a wuss.
Sean's falling out of it. I've never seen Sean.
Stop pointing.
Don't
I've never
point at
seen
Sean.
Sean laugh so hard.
Don't point at Sean.
Because the way you phrased it, is you said, "Isn't it so crazy that after a battle you piss your pants?" but that isn't that crazy because you weren't. It wasn't after a battle that you pissed your pants. It was after a great dream. So a better way to phrase that is, "Isn't it crazy when people have good dreams and then they piss their pants?"
Oh man. If you ever see Mike having like night tremors and he's fighting, just run away.
Get
His
the hell out
piss
of
is
there.
coming. Oh God.
Hey,
Wow.
Joe, let me ask you something.
Yes, Carlos.
You know, I was reading this article. What the hell is a loft wave?
The Luftwaffe.
Yeah, what is that?
Luftwaffe.
I don't know what that is.
That's
Really?
the German Air Force during World War II.
Oh, I didn't know.
Carlos, you're a history
intelligent
buff.
guy.
I mean,
No, yeah, but I don't watch History Channel.
History
though.
Channel. Like, there's always like at least once a week, at least for a long time, you would see
Yeah.
like Legends of the Luftwaffe in the Great Battle of Britain. The Luftwaffe.
See, I just heard of the
defends
Red
homeland.
Baron. That's all I.
That was World War One. This is World War Two.
It was,
And also, it was just a dog.
yeah, Snoopy's.
Yeah, also
Yeah,
just
the
that,
dog.
that's why you know it.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, and the Luftwaffe would often do bombing raids over Britain, come back to Germany and wet their pants. When they
Hilarious.
They would. They were known for just wetting the shit out of their pants
Isn't that
after
crazy?
battles.
Some good gladiators.
Isn't that
back in those
crazy
days.
that they would wet their pants after they bombed Britain?
And when they were flying upside down, did the piss go down?
That's how when they were going back over France, which they hated, they would just piss their pants over France.
Yeah.
I could just imagine one night Mike waking up next to a woman, realizing he's pissed himself, and then making a quick cover, going, "Man, isn't it crazy how after you work out for like 3 hours you piss your pants?"
Yeah.
Hey,
Very
come on.
manly.
That was
cover.
7. I was 7.
Right.
And I was under a lot of stress.
They say your personality is fully formed at 5 years old. So
Yep.
7 is 2 years beyond the Rubicon.
Dreaming about gladiators and wetting your pants.
Jesus.
What a start for the young Costantini boy.
Fantastic. I don't want to change the topic, but we probably should. Mike, did you have any thoughts that you wanted to share on what you read?
But yeah, I was really excited. I was late at night. I was watching the History Channel, and I saw Joe and me on the History Channel. You know, in our beautiful like segment of all of
Our segment of glory.
glory,
2
2 seconds or 3
Oh.
seconds.
That was nice.
But it's actually not the first time I've been on TV. I was on an episode of 90210.
Were you really?
Whoa.
Yeah.
How is there a story from Mike that we haven't heard yet?
I know.
We've heard them all 3 times.
I don't
And
really
this one might be uplifting.
I don't really talk about my acting past. Like, I also tried out for In the Heat of the Night.
I've heard about that before.
Have you?
Yeah, you talking about that. But what was the 90210?
Yeah.
My friend and my friend's sister worked on the show. And I don't know if any of you are big 90210 fans, but they didn't actually
not.
film.
I am.
Well, for
Not
our
even
listeners
kidding.
out there,
I was.
we have some women listeners that were probably fans of it. They didn't
And
actually.
male
A lot of guys like that
Whoa,
show, too.
way to
Hey, yeah,
ostracize
hold on.
A lot of guys
bedwetter.
like that show.
Well, okay, yeah, that's fine. I was a fan of it when I was young.
Yes,
Of course you were. You dreamed about gladiators.
Oh.
So, they filmed that show at Torrance High School. It wasn't at 902. It wasn't in
Right.
Beverly Hills,
which is
it was
close,
Torrance High
close to
School.
where you grew up.
Yeah, exactly. So we went down one day, and it's really funny. Like, the school actually changed the name. So it was actually Torrance High,
Right.
but on the front it read Beverly Hills High.
Wow.
And we went, and they were filming one day, and they needed extras, so we went on, and we had backpacks.
Who's
and,
we?
An old friend of mine
Okay,
from
okay.
grade school.
Let's call them Steven.
Well,
Let's call him Gladiator Steve.
his name was actually Mike as well. 'cause-
No way.
Yeah, it was 2 Mikes.
I like
There's a lot of
gladiator
Mikes.
Steven.
Okay,
Wait,
so
what
you
was that,
You
Mike?
and Gladiator Steven were at the thing.
A lot
Yeah,
of-
and
there's a lot of.
yes, Gladiator Steven and I were at the thing, and Ian Ziering did a scene, and I was right next to him.
That's
Oh.
Steve.
And I have sunglasses on and a backpack. Yeah,
So
Steve.
you were just there.
And then
What
Gladi-
episode was it? What was the plot line of the episode?
I don't even remember. It was
Somebody
Who got raped?
Who got raped?
it
Yeah.
was- you know what episode it was? It was
Yeah.
the one where David Faustino. No.
No. That's Bud
David-
Bundy.
that's-
David from the show.
Bud.
Brian Austin Green.
Brian
Yeah.
Austin Green. Sorry,
Bud
Brian
Bundy.
Austin Green. Faustino.
Jesus.
Brian Austin Green. He was gonna graduate early, so he could.
Oh yeah.
Go-
graduate, so he could graduate.
Yeah, it was that episode.
So you could be a
it's like
hip hop artist.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes. So I was next to Ian Ziering, and then my gladiator friend Steve
What?
single-handedly,
He's right.
single-handedly chopped off Ian Ziering's head.
Oh,
He
And
must
they
have
wouldn't-
missed his pants
He must have.
so hard.
They wouldn't use the footage after that. So if you notice, after that season, Ian Ziering
has no
not
head.
in
Always
90210.
filmed, he was always
Wow.
filmed from the neck down in every scene after that. I heard a crazy thing that on the set of 90210, did they give you this thing where you couldn't like look the actors in the eye, or did they tell the extras to do
No.
anything crazy like
They
that?
never said anything
I've
like
heard
that.
that about that show, that they had a really crazy set where you couldn't like look Brenda in the eye or like make any kind of contact.
Well,
Well, you
Brenda
know-
was kind of a bitch.
You know what?
Yeah,
she
sure.
wasn't in the scene that we were doing that day, though. So like, I don't know. That may have
maybe
been
the
a thing.
rules. Maybe the rules didn't.
I
apply.
served her cold fries at Johnny Rockets once.
Did you? I played darts next to her one time in Washington D.C.
Who can top that?
Anybody?
I banged her.
No.
I banged her.
Right now or when?
Well, this is
Currently.
quite a few years ago.
Oh, and it's that's the reason her eyes all.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes, that's the
Yeah.
reason her eyes all messed up.
Yes.
Nice.
That was
'Cause you-
amazing.
He banged her sideways.
I banged her.
That's crazy.
I banged her so bad.
Hey,
Well, you must have pissed your pants so hard after that.
easy.
Yeah, oh,
We always easy. We always get too blue.
you gotta.
I didn't do
earn
it. I didn't
You gotta
do it.
earn
it.
it. Earn blue. You gotta earn blue.
Oh,
I would
man.
like to share our second by second appearance on the show.
Oh boy.
For the people at home. So Mike and I were on for a grand total of 2 seconds, and I'm going to kind of read through this, and you guys feel free to jump in. And Mike, you tell me if any of this is not accurate. 'cause
Sure.
I think it's all pretty much true.
Oh, it's all true.
Okay, we were on stage. This is the first second of our 2 second appearance, and I titled it "Second One: A Time of Beginnings."
Yeah, this is actually as you will see it on the History
This is how you
Channel
would see it on
if
the
you
History
watch
Channel.
the documentary.
An hour and 20 minutes into the History Channel, this is what you'd see. We are on stage at the West Side Eclectic Theater in Santa Monica. You can tell it is the West Side Eclectic Theater because the crumbling brick wall in the background makes it look like we are performing in Afghanistan. Which, I was going to say Beirut, but Afghanistan's a little more...
Firing squad.
Yeah, or firing squad, yeah, exactly. Either way, it looks like the building's about to fall over. Great theater. Love that. Love the West Side. It just has that wall.
Ambiance.
I started off seated on a stool in a listening position. It is clear that Mike, also seated on a stool holding a guitar, has just said something funny. I can't remember what it was, Mike. What was so funny at that moment that, you were telling a story. But
I have no idea.
Yeah,
I don't even know
remember
where we were in
I
the.
don't remember either. I smile, shift my body down and to the left, look up and laugh. Mike raises his arm in the air and for reasons that we still don't understand, makes a backwards C with his hand.
I know.
Why did he do that?
He's vitamin C.
No. I don't think he was telling that story. Although good callback to podcast number 6.
Podcast number 6. Yes.
Thank you.
Good callback to my joke 1 second before I told it.
I'm reinforcing. It's like a building. You need to reinforce it.
All right. Anyway, okay, so Mike is a fine comedian, but during this second, I own the stage. I am chewing up the scenery, just killing with my smile, shift, look, and laugh. I'm like Robin and Whoopi and Billy all rolled into one big Louis Anderson ball.
Comic relief.
Which, by the way, my favorite hors d'oeuvre.
The Louis Anderson ball.
Louis Anderson ball.
Isn't it ham wrapped in bacon?
Wrapped in bacon, smothered in butter.
I actually want one of those really bad right now.
So good.
There you
Make me
go.
hungry.
Yeah. The audience probably does not realize Mike is on stage or even alive. If his parents are watching, they forgot he was born. I am on.
He was like a homeless person. Comic relief.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that all changes during second 2, which I titled
Whoa.
A Season of Changes.
Oh my.
Boom.
I pull up lame in second 2, A Season of Changes. I have already smiled, shifted, looked, and laughed. All I do now is put my attention on Mike so I can hear the rest of whatever he is saying. It's a supportive move of a good comedy partner, which I clearly am, but it's pretty evident after watching this 40... I'm starting to sound like the guy from Survivor Man right now when I'm reading this. It's pretty clear after watching this 45 times.
you are
I'm a huge
surviving.
letdown.
You just have to add the Canadian accent.
Yeah,
You know.
Entertainment-wise, in this final second, I'm a letdown. Hollywood ain't gonna come knocking for that kind of performance. Meanwhile, Mike is magnificent. He is holding the audience in rapt attention with his backwards C,
Vitamin C.
And the audience shot shows it.
which he shifts ever so deftly from left to center so that it lines up symmetrically in front of his head. I have no idea what he said during this part of the show. It didn't matter. Backwards C said it all. Mike, with his grand hand gesture, stole the
Awesome.
second. Mike is great.
But you know that audience shot, like from us, that is like a dream because you know in dreams like you'll be in your own house, but then all of a sudden you'll walk into a corridor that doesn't exist.
Yeah.
We were playing and we were doing this to an audience that exists.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden they switched to like a whole different ambience.
Well, I accuse the History Channel of playing loose with the facts. On
I-
this
I-
documentary.
Oh, yeah. I can attest to that.
Doug.
Yeah, I think we're gonna transition here to
We'll
Doug in a
transition to
second.
that.
Doug.
But I accuse the History
Once-
Channel of fucking with history.
Right. Well put, Mike. I think you're absolutely
Very
right.
Well,
Yeah.
history is won by the winners.
Yeah.
And apparently we're all losers.
Apparently,
yeah.
I
the
was.
producer of the show. So yeah, they did. They cut from us to an audience in a different room that was like being told to sit on its hands. Or
And it was
something.
Yeah.
and it was the angle. It was an angle that there's no possible way they could have gotten that in the West Side Eclectic.
Right. They would have had to stand inside the green room on the other side of the wall.
And just with a ladder like 10
Yeah,
feet high. Yeah.
Exactly. So Doug actually was also on the History Channel. I think he had
I
some.
was the History Channel
was the
documentary.
History
Yeah.
You made
Doug
the
was
show.
Doug was a big part of it, and I don't know, Doug. Maybe if you want to explain your side of events, because Doug was featured prominently on the History Channel documentary, and I think because I was at your show, they did play a little loose with their interpretation
True.
of.
Yeah, they
I got to
altered
tell
it.
you
They
this:
altered it.
Hitler's not the only one who bombs on the History Channel.
Oh,
snap.
Yeah,
Yeah.
word.
Nice.
I've been working on that one for days.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
That was well worth it.
Yeah.
No, it was weird. It played in my hometown. 3 hour. It started 3 hours before the show actually started. So
Right.
all my relatives got to finish it before I even
Saw
had a
it.
chance. So I got plenty of calls going like, "Hey, don't take it too hard. It's, it's gonna be ground." I'm like, "Oh no, what's gonna happen?"
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I spent, and I'm not in it till like an hour and 40 minutes into
Yep.
it. And I'm featured prominently in the bombing section.
Yeah.
On the how everybody's got a bomb and on all that. Such
Bombing is good
nonsense.
for you.
Yeah.
And all that, yeah.
But what's amazing is like, you had some pretty major comedians that were like talking.
Yeah, it was
in
like
between
Robin
your
Williams,
segments. Robin
and
Williams,
Doug,
Robin
George
Williams.
Carlin, and Doug. Yeah.
Yep.
That was, I mean,
Absolutely.
dude,
You were
Yeah.
the meat in a awesome comedian
No,
sandwich.
hell yeah. And I was their token 1 year guy too. Like I was
Yeah,
talking,
the
you know.
only one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was the one guy that were like, watch this guy's career. 'cause
And
he's-
I did notice
Seriously, Doug, there but for the grace of God go we, because we were there that night,
Yep.
and it could have been anybody that performed that night that they
Yeah,
could have like.
it's
said,
true.
yeah.
It's
we're
true.
gonna cut this little theater in Santa Monica and just get some B-roll, and we're gonna take one of these guys and just make them.
I did notice that too. Like all the comedians that they showed, like they showed some major comedians like Kathy Griffin, Doug Benson. A lot of them were like all, and it said like 20 years.
Right.
You know,
17
30
years,
years,
yep.
17 years.
After
And then
me,
there's
the
Doug,
1 year.
Yeah.
Today.
Which at the time it was actually almost 2 years, but I said like a year and 9 months or whatever. And they're like, a year.
They never put that in 9 months.
Yeah.
Again,
Now,
History Channel.
It's been over 2 years, but I know I loved it. I loved my appearance on it. They did 4 of my jokes where they cut out the audience response.
Yeah, it was weird. I watched it a couple of times, and like the first time, I think they kind of kept some of the audience response. Then the next 2, like you don't like hear any.
They added
quiet.
a cough.
And they even
they added a cough. Yeah,
Yeah.
they added it. Yeah, you can tell. You can tell it wasn't supposed to be
It's the total like sound design library cough.
It's off the premiere edition.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. Because it's like Doug tells his joke, you hear like there's a murmuring of laughter, and then you hear you literally before it goes.
That was actually me. Sorry.
That was Carlos. So we were all there that night. We were there that night. I don't remember that cough.
Yeah,
No.
no,
I don't remember
And
that.
I don't remember any of my jokes not getting any response at all.
Right.
you know?
There were varied responses.
Yeah,
some hit
some of
harder
them
than
only got
others.
one person laughing a
Right.
couple of times.
and I
but
should say that is Punk House though. It's a tough audience because it's mostly comedians.
yeah,
Yeah, it's
And
mostly
good place to
Yeah.
hang out and get free beer.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think that there was a young German man with his family that was filming some home videos
What? Yeah,
at the
really?
time, and I think he might have caught some audience reaction. I say we blow this thing wide open.
I would love that.
Get some of that film and check it out and see, from another angle, it could tell a totally different story.
I think your
That's all I'm
Zapruder of film theory is
Yeah.
quite correct. I like that.
And you know
idea.
the joke, the one that you said about the disc jockey and the
Oh,
dog
yeah,
side? Well, explain that one because I still haven't gotten that
Oh
one.
well,
fair enough.
This should be a segment of the show as
Yeah.
Carlos doesn't understand
Yeah,
it.
things Carlos doesn't get.
the cliff notes to my joke are going to be out on my new album, so check that out.
All right.
no.
I don't know.
Instead of a horse jockey, it's a play on words.
Oh, okay.
Where instead of a horse jockey, I'm a disc jockey.
Wait,
so
some
I
people
ride.
haven't heard the joke before. If
right,
they
tell-
didn't see
yeah,
this.
Okay,
the history
here's the
conference.
joke. Here's
Tell
the
the
joke. In college, I used to be a disc jockey, but I kept falling off my copy of Dark Side of the Moon and losing the race.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You still don't get
Carlos,
it.
do you understand?
No,
it?
I
Dark Side of the
understand.
Moon's a Pink
that
Floyd
was
album.
actually like
Yeah.
we were watching it and Sean's like, that was actually funny.
Yeah. That was I know you can actually, Doug, I don't know if you can tell, but you can when you do the whale joke, you can actually hear me laughing.
Yes,
'Cause I
absolutely.
knew I could kind of see like 3 seconds before it was I was like and in my head I was going, he's gonna go so, which was a good joke. Doug's got a good joke about I won't spoil it, but it's a good joke.
Yeah, it's my opener, and it works a lot better too. It would have worked better if they'd have gone into the intro to the next joke, because that's when that joke gets its most laughs.
Right.
Because it's like there's got to be more to that joke. but
You
no.
always get the laugh that you from the previous laugh. It's kind of like the Oscars. Like you don't win it for this one, you win it for the next one. So people often do that. So yeah, I like that whale joke, and you can hear me laughing. Like I do the pre-laugh, and then the rest of the audience goes, "Oh," and it's really good. It's a funny joke. So
I think it's too like Doug. You kind of remind me of Rodney Dangerfield in some ways.
I got a lot of fucking jokes.
Exactly. Like, but that's what
Yeah, more of a
Rodney
joke guy.
Dangerfield was. That guy. He went up and did joke after joke.
Right.
And it is not an easy thing to do because, like most comedians, they have like a bit,
Right.
and they kind of like they latch onto a certain subject. But for you, it's like, man, you got to do joke after
Yep.
joke,
But,
after joke after joke.
But Henny
And
Youngman,
that's that's just the way it is.
but actually Henny Youngman and Ronnie Dangerfield were to get, they've been doing their act so long that they actually it became routine.
Oh,
so
of course,
people
yeah.
so
Yeah.
people saw it after time and time that they said, like if they had a comic like Seinfeld in between them, they could actually last together. Like they could actually, their acts would actually work because it's
Right.
Henny Youngman or Ronnie Dangerfield. Like that's what they do. That's
Yeah.
what they're
Right.
known.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard when somebody's kind of up and coming and doing that because they're not used to
Dude,
that.
Rodney Dangerfield did it when he started. Like he
Right,
was
but he
40
started it-
by the time he actually
yeah.
got.
Right,
he was
but-
selling aluminum siding.
But it took him a while.
It
like
took
I
him a
mentioned.
long
Yeah,
time,
It took him
yeah.
a while
Yeah.
to do that kind
Yeah.
of comedy. And
Year,
stuff.
year one probably wasn't.
Right, yeah, the
Rodney's-
1 year one didn't help. I
That was
guess,
his real
but-
get no respect. Year,
yeah.
so,
Yeah.
That's
But hey,
true.
it's anybody interested? It's on average 3 jokes equals 30 seconds.
Wait, say it.
Say that again.
My set during my set, 3 jokes on average equals 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Oh,
seriously.
okay. So you can cram in a lot. You can get a lot of jokes
Right.
in there.
Yeah.
which is really great. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, a lot of comedians. It's kind of cool to have your own style. A lot of people. God, we've been done Punk House so many times, and it's a really good show. But I think the thing that annoys me is the guy who goes up there unprepared and is like, man, what happened to me today, man? I don't know. Like,
Or the guy who looks at the notes.
She's just going, no, not even no notes. Like, at least notes show some preparation. I'm talking about the guy who goes up. Remember that one guy who went up and started talking about how bad his life was?
Oh yeah,
This
the
guy
kid.
was like, he basically fell apart on
Well,
stage.
his kid was there too.
Yeah, he's like, man, I got this kid
And a hot
shit.
girlfriend.
And the kid, these guys, I got this kid.
Oh, the young girl.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
the
the
kid
little girl.
walked
You were
up
there
on
too.
stage. It was like, oh, it was so heartbreaking. It was tough to watch.
I used to go to a couple buddies of mine did like poetry, and we go to open mic like poetry things.
Really?
It was
This is back when you dreamt of gladiators too.
I people watched it,
Okay,
but man, were there people to be watched.
I bet.
Yeah.
There were those kind of people. It kind of just ran the gamut from. There'd be people that seriously like took poetry seriously, and they were like there to do poems. Then there was the guy who would do kind of the stand-up act. He would tell the story, and it was kind of a routine. And then there was, like the 14-year-old girl who'd take the mic off the stand and like sit down like cross-legged. You couldn't even really see her, like Indian style, and
Yep.
reading her poem.
Yep.
And it was just but you'd have those people who came up who you could tell just like penned it as they were sitting out there.
I hate that.
And they'd come up and just kind of like, well, what's going on with them today? And
so
it could be pretty,
tedious.
it could be, it was one of those where it was about 2 hours long. And at the break, I was just, somebody, have anyone ever invited you somewhere and been like, hey, you want to come along? And you're like, yeah, sure. And then 10 minutes in, you realize why you said the last time you were never going to come back.
Yeah.
Right.
It was like that with enough of them. But my buddies were pretty good. My friend Jeremy, who
He's a good
he'll
dude.
be on this podcast eventually.
Yeah.
Really?
He read some poems.
He writes very like he would write poems about these people come in and have very like literate kind of things, and his poems were always about like the bench warmers on the Atlanta Hawks and things like that. Like that was one of his poems.
I want to read a.
That's pretty
I want to
cool.
read a poem about John Koncak.
John.
The
Oh,
7-foot reserve who was signed to a multi-million dollar
yeah,
contract.
that was the worst.
Rarely got to play.
It's a shame.
Koncak, my Koncak. I call
Koncak.
him.
Concac, my concac.
I like curling.
Jack Haley.
See, I would listen to sports related poetry.
He would do
also called
sports
rap
and-
music, but I would listen to sports related poetry. That'd be fun.
Mm-hmm.
It's really good.
That's got to be on the Jeff Jam or Def Poetry Jam. or-
Yeah,
The Jeff Jam.
the Jeff poetry jam.
Yeah.
Jeff
I'd watch that stuff.
Jeff Richards and
I'm
Jack
just
Michaelson.
a guy. Exactly. All right. Did anybody else have anything they absolutely wanted to unload off their chest?
Hamburgers rule.
Yeah, Mike.
Yeah.
Let's get to Mike's list of
Oh
lies.
my gosh.
Let's get to Mike's brain exploded.
Speaking of years,
I think Mike wants to go to the end of the show. No, if you read the end of the column, we did a really funny. Mike and I were interviewed before and after we did our set that night at the show, and for some reason, Mike just went in. Like as soon as the little red camera light went on, Mike went insane. Like every time they asked him a question, like I don't know. It's just funny. It was.
it's basically what not to do.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Did he follow it up with this kind of laugh though? The
cameraman was laughing.
The cameraman was like,
He was shaking.
He was laughing at you,
At
not
you.
with
The
you.
cameraman laughs at a Jerry Springer tape.
yeah, exactly.
Doesn't make it funny.
Yeah, tell me about Hero Style. Mike goes, well, I'm the better half of Hero Style.
That was a joke, though. I mean, I made it. I was like, yeah, I'm the better half. I mean, it's like, come on.
What are you,
it's a joke.
Abbott and Costello over here? Oh my gosh.
Mike called me. He said my persona on stage is like a scared little lamb.
That was out of context, though. You see, you're editing.
What was the context?
Yeah, what was the context?
I don't remember, but I didn't write it like that. It was a
He was,
joke.
he was
can remember-
tasty like a scared
It
little
was
lamb.
a joke.
You can remember a dream about gladiators you had 20 years ago, but you can't remember the context of a
Joe
joke.
and I, as friends, bust each other's balls all the time. So I took that to that.
but it's funny because you waited until we were on film and on camera to bust. You never bust my balls back in
bust
real
your
life.
balls all the time.
No,
You
I-
unloaded.
I like how you said that Mike's lip was quivers.
Oh, it does. When Mike's on stage, because I'm the beast. Mike's lip quivers on stage. He gets nervous. he gets really
The
nervous.
nervousness feeds my energy.
Mike called Andy Dick. Wait for it. A
What?
dick.
Oh,
A dick.
stating the obvious.
Right. The guy said, "Who?" The guy was like, "Are there any comedians you hate or whatever?"
Oh,
And
yeah.
Mike's like, "Andy Dick."
That was after I heard that John Lovitz rammed his head into a
Yeah.
into a bar because of all
and
that.
John
'Cause Andy
John
Dick
Lovitz being one of your
killed
best
Phil Hartman.
friends.
I like John
Yeah,
Lovitz.
that too. Yeah.
I like John Lovitz.
because
So.
you know him.
No,
All right, fair enough.
And I said that I don't know him, but I'm like, I've heard he's
What
a
about
dick.
when you destroyed my confidence by saying I have a golden voice?
What are you talking about? That's a compliment.
Not the way you said it.
What do you mean?
You were like,
took
oh,
that the wrong way.
You're like, Joe has a golden voice.
That's kind of like listening to or hearing the glass is half full or half empty.
I'm just saying, there's a
There's
damning
nothing
Look at
like
it both
that.
ways.
There's a damning body of evidence here. It's not like this was one slip up. Mike, I don't remember the context of this, but I came home and wrote this in my notebook, and I wrote, Mike said he and I always buy each other hamburgers.
See, that's the thing.
That's
I don't
gay.
remember that.
I think the question was like, do you guys have any pre-show rituals or anything you guys do like when you perform? And you're like,
Buy
I think you were
each
like,
other.
yeah, we always go out and buy each other hamburgers.
Now,
You did say that. I remember you saying it because I watched your guys' interview. Yeah.
I don't remember that. But
Yeah,
That's
I
a
believe
very,
it was.
but that's also a very like Costantine thing to do.
Very.
Is to say the joke that like people stop and think like, was that really a joke?
Yeah.
Because that could be very well true. That
Right.
There's nothing that strange
Right.
about it. It's just kind of strange.
Don't point at me.
The
I know.
ultimate. The ultimate was at the end, which they
I
should
got
have
it.
used.
I got it. Okay.
In this.
Oh,
in this-
no.
Wait, let's act this out. I think this
Let's
deserves to be act
okay,
out.
Okay, I'll be the interviewer and the camera guy. You be you, and Sean will be Ed Galvez, and then Carlos, you be everybody who's standing nearby.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm the interviewer guy.
Mind you, the camera guy is probably completely befuddled at this point.
Okay.
And
so
Doug, you're Doug.
Okay.
Doug is to be Doug. Yeah.
I will be Doug.
All right. So they wrapped up our interview, and the interviewer guy, who was me, was like, "Hey guys, thanks a lot. Have a good night."
And I turn and I'm like, watch the History Channel.
And Ed goes, they are.
But then everybody laughed.
Yeah, everybody
It
laughed.
was so fucking fundamental.
Well, it was.
That's the laugh I love to hear.
Yeah.
Well, it was just so like it was one of those things where you're just like I don't know. It's like the oldest trick in the book almost kind of thing. Like it was just like hey Mike, what do you have on your shirt? And then you got flicked and then
And after all of that, they chose to edit out the laughs in Doug's bit
Yeah.
to talk about bombing.
Right.
I know. Yeah, that talk about they should
We
they
would
should
have
have
been
made a
ripe for that.
They should have made a whistle like
But talk about like I can imagine the main editor comes back to the intern.
Yeah.
Oh, did you get those bomb things? Yeah, check it out. What I did was there was this one comedian and I took out all his laughs and he's like, dude, you worked way too hard last
Right,
night.
exactly.
You're not getting paid overtime. All
Right.
you had to do was take the Mike Costantini footage.
the one footage
Put it right on the
So
time.
it would have been like Louis Black, like some comedians think they're funny when they're really not.
Oh.
And it just would have been. You're watching History Channel. They are.
You never looked at me the same after that whole.
No.
No, I lost all respect for you. that was the end.
oh my god, I had to run away because I was laughing so hard. Like I didn't want that on
Only
camera.
Mike, Sean, in keeping with your thing before, only Mike would tell somebody to do the thing they're already doing.
Yeah.
Do what you're doing.
I want a T-shirt that says "Watch the History Channel." That should have been like their
And
trademark.
on the back it says they are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, like must see TV. This one was like watch the History,
History
Channel. No,
Oh man. All right.
I love gladiators.
That's a pretty good one to end the discussion on the column with. I think we're going to come to that part of the show where we wrap things up. We're going to go to the aftermath. There it is.
What the hell?
All right, it's coming off the new iPod. It's an iPod Mini though.
I
so-
had the volume up, but
you just bombed on the bomb.
You
also.
bombed. Way to go, Mike.
The
Well,
aftermath.
swell
Whoa!
job.
Did somebody swat a fly? What the?
Swell job.
Yes.
All right. We will start as we always do in the deepest corner of the room
Far away.
with the Gladiator Slayer.
I think
the
this-
bed Slayer. Mr. Mike Costantini.
I think this corner of the room keeps getting farther and farther.
Do you notice
back.
we're all sitting on the opposite side of the
I
table?
know.
Literally, like everybody's away from.
It's a negative
Yeah.
energy there.
No, I think dreams are great sometimes, but I think they're very frustrating. Now, when I wet myself in the pants, and when I was in the 7th grade,
Wet myself in the
No, 7th grade is 12 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you first said it, you said you were 7 years old.
or 7, whatever.
No,
it was.
no.
It might have been
Wow.
7th grade. I can't remember if it was 7
12
or
years
7th
old.
grade.
That you're almost a man.
Yeah, but I wasn't a man
You
yet.
have pubic hair.
Yeah, obviously.
It was very gratifying though because I felt like I had earned it, because like I had just slaughtered like a whole regime, and then I just went and God bless you if you piss in your pants. But the dreams,
Wait, that's the T-shirt I want. I don't want
God bless you.
Let's if you piss your pants.
but I gotta admit, like I've had some weird dreams too. You know, weird dreams. Like I don't know if all of you guys out there, like, if you ever had this one dream, like where you're about to have sex with a woman, and
A wet dream?
Well, yeah, it's a wet dream.
Okay.
But for me, like every time I'm like about to make love to a woman, all of a sudden, like I start screwing a ketchup bottle.
What?
Okay, all right. You know
You
what?
are not
No.
human. You were
You
brought
know what I
here.
mean? And like,
by
No
and
more,
it's really
no more.
frustrating because it's like I get
No more, please.
I get
Stop.
Sean's like
You were-
falling out of his chair.
Because I've got another
Stop pointing.
Here's another Constantini thing to do: is to open with something that you're trying to relate to the audience, and then do something that obviously nobody's ever experienced before in their entire lives.
Let me ask you this.
Like, wait, audience out there, can you? I wonder, has any of this ever happened to you? Have you ever had my parents as your parents?
Come on, it's like that dream. If you never had a dream where you need to be somewhere to a classroom, and all of a sudden you end up 5 miles away from it, and you're trying to get back to it. Come on,
It's nothing to do with
I
screwing a
have had
ketchup bottle.
similar to that. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, that's normal, but
yeah.
putting your in a ketchup bottle. Is
yeah, it was a
not-
Heinz bottle
What?
for some reason. I don't know why.
See, now that's
No,
where you
but-
lose me. If it was a catsup bottle, I would be
Yeah.
with you. But
also, dude, how small is your wiener if it can fit in a ketchup bottle?
Well, I'm
That's-
not saying it was easy. I'm saying the whole process was
I'm just saying.
pretty
That's
difficult.
disgusting.
I'm just saying that would be happening to me. Is all
involves
I'm
an entire
saying.
brick of Kerrygold unsalted butter.
Yeah. Wow. All right. Well, that
So yeah, that's my aftermath.
that can't be topped. But
No.
try, Carlos. Give it a shot. But
Oh gosh, I'm exhausted. Speaking of which, though, I just remember reading this, and it says right here where Mike lips quiver, and it says sometimes he makes in his pants when people say the word theater.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say that, or
Theater.
tomorrow.
you know what? Before I wrote that, I didn't even know
Yeah.
what the pants piece
Yeah.
stuff either.
Right.
See, it all connects.
But I also want to say that I'm very proud of you, of your 2 seconds.
Thank you.
Thanks, Carlos.
And Carlos is also part of Hero Style.
Don't touch me.
Was
and Doug, and Doug, like Tupac says, keep your head up. Okay.
Hell yeah, dude.
Oh, yeah, no,
Please.
nothing
right.
to be down about.
To be
on that.
honest with
right.
you, Doug is the rock star of this whole thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
exactly. I agree completely.
And
I concur as well. Yay me.
And also, Sean, I don't. Please don't come back.
I've been part of a few hero styles myself.
Yes, he has.
Didn't make the television on them yet, but
Yeah, that's all right.
Yeah, that's right.
I
Yeah, Sean has
guess.
been a part. He
you
was there
might
for-
say I've gone to the Coliseum with the gladiators that are hero style.
Yes, he has.
That's a sketch.
Yes, he has. Sean, did you have any? Thank you, Carlos. Sean, did you have any final?
Oh,
What I'm gonna say is I'm just gonna let you guys into the process about how I do my aftermath usually, and it will explain why I can't do one tonight.
Okay.
Usually what I do is I try to take something, usually that Mike said, towards the beginning of the show and bring it back.
Right.
But
We've done that all night.
I don't know. There's nothing I can say that can top what Mike said.
I know.
You could take everything I said this entire podcast, and it wouldn't measure up to 3 syllables that you said this podcast. I say MVP Mike Costantini.
I agree.
Thank you,
Mike was the
guys.
MVP. And
We
if
appreciate you
we
guys.
had a camera here tonight, you would have seen Sean like bouncing around his chair like an epileptic
I know.
fit, like turning different shades of red, trying to understand what Mike. Like I could see you trying to process it, and like it was causing your brain to shut down.
like it was so simple that you had to go. Like you almost had to go to like a retard state of
Yeah,
mind.
exactly. Just to process it all.
If you guys, if anyone at home had as much fun as I did this evening, God bless you.
This is one of those I think Dave Pavlina is going to enjoy.
Oh, he will
This
definitely
is a
enjoy
Pavlina special.
That's for you, Dave, in
Yeah.
Japan.
You just wrecked that car.
you're driving on top of a car.
Oh my gosh.
Oh man, great. Doug, we'll let you have the final aftermath thought there.
Oh, this was fun.
I love it.
We're at a card table, which is always fun, and burgers rule. Sliders are my favorite. Anybody else
Sliders
miss
are great.
sliders?
I
Those
love
are my
sliders.
favorite dimension hopping hamburgers.
Yes.
Great hamburger.
I don't know what that
Reference
means.
to
For the
90s
TV show. Oh,
television.
that's right. Okay.
You watch the show.
You usually, Carlos, you usually a
Yeah,
rock.
Sliders.
I'm
They had that
I'm out
hot
of it.
girl
I'm
on
out of
there
it.
too, which I had a
Yeah.
couple dreams about.
Wait,
No, I don't.
Professor Maximilian Arturo?
No.
Is that the one?
So that was the hottest girl on that entire show.
Who was the hot girl that like he ended up leaping with, or like not leaping? But,
Check it out, Sean.
sliding
There
with.
was a Quinn, and Quinn's girlfriend was...
What's her name? She was really, really hot.
She was hot. You're not talking about the soldier one that replaced her.
No. Yeah.
Shannon Doherty.
Did these dreams with her end
Shannon
up?
Doherty's eye.
Did you end up like making out with a jar of mayo or anything like that?
It's been very non-physical
convenient.
things.
That
which
is convenient.
sucks. I think I made out with some wood once.
Why?
Boy.
What?
I don't know. It's like a very frustrating thing in my dreams. I always get to that point, and then it's something just
It's crazy town.
Can someone send an email if they relate to any of Mike's dreams? I'd just love to know, especially the ketchup bottle. I'd like to hear anyone's ketchup bottle dreams.
Anybody had that dream before?
I don't
man.
know.
All right. Well,
And who
very
else
good.
here prefers catsup to ketchup?
Yeah.
I'd also like to know that.
Yeah, I don't know.
This is for you, Doug.
Let's say this about Duck.
The artificial.
Exactly. Now, when the people
Clink,
go,
clink, clink.
when people go to your
Captain
website now,
Maggie
it
Brackett.
What's-
Captain Maggie
Is that
Brackett.
it?
No, that's who they replaced her with.
Wade Wells.
Wade, yes.
Wade.
Sabrina
Yeah,
Lloyd
she
was
was
the
hot.
Wait, that's who you would see in your dream before you put your wiener in a lawnmower.
Very, very frustrating.
Well, just like Leprechaun 2.
No, my dream will be like, she'll say, let's have sex now. I'll be like, great, let me just go get a Coke.
Why would
And
you
then
go get a Coke?
all of a sudden, I would end up 16 miles away with a garbage truck with no wheels that I can't get back.
Wow.
She was in Sports Night.
Really?
she was.
Yeah, she's cute. Yeah, I know. See, I always got to where I was going in my dreams.
Never, no.
Why would you go get a Coke right before making sweet love?
I don't know. I'd be like, I just want to get a Coke
you
and
control
relax.
your dreams, right? You can control your dreams.
I haven't learned dream control.
Oh, you got to learn that.
Maybe if you didn't get
Queen
so many,
sang about it.
It's like getting cable. It just opens up a whole new fascination.
maybe if you didn't get so many Cokes, you'd wake up in a dry bed.
Exactly.
I put mine on a Roomba.
Nice. That's awesome. Oh, good callback to like podcast number 10. Very nice. Very nice.
Thank
I like how
you.
you're numbering them.
Very
just
nice.
Perfectly.
I'm just for making
Yes.
shit up. All right, Doug Dreisel Jr. Please let our audience know where they can see you, find you, enjoy
All
you.
right. Well, let's see. I've got my first comedy album that I recorded over Christmas. My Name is Dave is going to be coming out in the next couple of months. You can always catch my shorts and soon to be an 11-minute long cartoon, a la Adult Swim style. Clan of the Red Wolf at myspace.com/Clan of the Red Wolf. You can see me every Tuesday night hosting the Naughty West After Dark comedy night at the 90 West in Marina Del Rey, 90066. Let's see. I'll be doing the Sunday show this Sunday with
When?
our good
When?
friend- Sunday on Sunday. I will. Let's see. What else do we have here? Brigand Magazine is an underground LA comedy magazine that should be hitting sometime in April. Just Action Man is one of my improv groups. Los Coalochos is a sketch and improv group I do, and Phil and I are coming out with a sketch comedy album that should be out in the next 4 or 5 months.
Fantastic.
So what have you been doing with all this free time?
Yeah.
Just
I think
sticking
you've
my
had.
finger in
That
the
was
button.
actually you're one of the guests that has the most stuff to say.
That is the most
Yeah.
plug. You have the plug lead, I think. Right
And
now.
I should say, Joe and I, as Hero Style, are going to be in 90 West this Tuesday
Yep.
night.
90
Yes.
West
Right.
at the Naughty West show. We're gonna bust
Yeah.
out our one of our new songs and maybe one of our classics.
And I'm
Yes.
off.
And Carlos is off for that show,
So
you can stay home. So
Will there be any backward C's being thrown up?
Oh,
all
Possibly.
sorts.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope so.
vitamin C.
Just take the 405 South to the 90 West, get off on the Culver Boulevard, exit, take a right. It's the first shopping center on your right.
Right by Ronnie's Diner.
Right by Ronnie's Diner and
The
a
Ronnie's
Curves.
Diner?
Yeah, exactly.
I like it out there. You can hear the crickets.
You can hear the crickets. You can
Oh, we could hear Chris.
And then
Joe and Hero Styles on.
yeah,
No, I mean it's just cool. It's like away from the freeway. It's kind of nice. It's
it
like
is
quiet.
nice. I like the 90 West show. It's a lot of
and it's a
fun.
cool bar. It's a really
Yeah,
cool
it's a
bar.
great
You got the
bar.
audience right up in your face.
The audience is in your face, and they're generally drinking, and they like bawdy songs, so they enjoyed our. I just said body. They like our songs. So
Bawdy.
it's a good
Did you
time.
mean balmy?
No, body, like
Yeah.
ribald.
Okay.
Anyway, thank you. And on that high note,
There we go.
thank you for joining us for the second column. Again, to check out the column, go to my website, and we'll see you next week.
That's all for this episode of The Second Column. For more information, go to joedonatelli.com.